Now, I had the opportunity to be on Fox News Network yesterday afternoon.
With the fake backdrop.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I've got this friend I met in D.C. about a year ago. He came to see the band. And he listened to some of the lyrics in some of our songs and figured out that somewhere deep down inside our redneck, belligerent, drunken exteriors was a little bit of activism. Because he heard songs about people losing their farms and people dying of AIDS and not having health insurance and all kinds of terrible things, and figured maybe there was a reason for all that somewhere in my psyche. And he asked me to do this thing last year, and actually I'm always pretty willing to do something if it's for a good cause. And I did this thing last year up in D.C. for some kind of like rock the vote kind of thing, raising voter awareness. And me and that guy ended up becoming pretty good friends, and he's the guy that set us up to do this thing this month, tomorrow night in Boston for the DNC. And he and I put together this website called rockfordemocracy.com. Really just trying to it really is just all it's really to do is to encourage people to read the papers, and not just the papers that tell their viewpoint, but maybe papers that tell other viewpoints. That's why I watch Fox News and CNN, and I wish I could get Al Jazeera and all the other ones, because I just want to hear as many different opposing viewpoints of everything as I can see. And I saw the Michael Moore movie, and I saw The Control Room, and I'm always eager for a different point of view. Because I think that's really the only way you can really make up your own mind and be voting your own conscience. And I don't give a shit how you vote, as long as you can back up your reasons. As long as you bother to find out that you should vote, and maybe think it through clearly for yourself, and not necessarily take everything that they say on TV at face value, no matter what network's saying it or what newspaper's saying it. With that in mind, I wrote this next song, which isn't exactly, I guess, the most objective thing in the world, but it was written as a response to some things that I'd seen, because as I said, I watch all kinds of things. And I guess I'm someone that some people could brand as some kind of a liberal or something. And at the same time, I've also been accused of being some kind of damn something other than that too, because I am a little bit militant about my things, and I guess I'm what they would call a belligerent, politically incorrect, gun-toting liberal. And we have a voice too, and we all have a right to our opinion, whatever kind of thing it falls on. But I guess the important thing is just to look at it all and kind of think it through. So anyway, I wrote this song as an open letter to Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News. It's called Big Tits and Bush. And then yesterday I found myself on Fox News. And it was kind of strange to me, but I thought, well, you know, what better place to talk than in the belly of the beast? Because really, there's nothing more lame than somebody preaching to the converted. And I woke up yesterday morning and I was all fired up and ready, and I had my anger and my dander up, and I was all ready to take them fuckers on. I was like, fuck you, Fox News. I'm ready for whatever you bring me. And then this girl called me, and I thought it was the reporter that was going to be interviewing me, and she called me to prime me to kind of like go over the questions so there wouldn't be dead air and it would be entertaining for the masses, which is really what's important to them anyway. And she called me up and she asked me all these questions, and I was taken aback by how really just intelligent they were. They were like the questions that I would think ought to be asked for something like that. You know, it's like, you know, why are you doing this benefit, and why are you at the DNC, and why do you feel the way you feel, and how do you feel about the fact that you heard that John Edwards likes your band? And you know, it was valid questions. You know, why were you asked to do it? And it was like, and I told it all, and it was good, and I was feeling really good, and I let my goddamn guard down. And then all of a sudden I find myself in the basement of the Capitol building here in Richmond, Virginia, in front of a set of the city, a photograph of the skyline of Richmond, all well lit. And I'm facing a picture of the Capitol building where if they happen to need that as the backdrop, they just turn the camera over and move the chair, and then you're in front of the Capitol. That's how it is there on TV. It's good to know that. It's important to know that when they're talking to you with the skyline behind you. It's important to know that you're really in the basement of a dark, kind of creepy building with a bunch of white lights shining on you in front of a photograph. It's important. And anyway, so I get on there, and all of a sudden I'm on national TV, and I've been on there. That's the second time. The first time I was doing what I actually do, playing a song, which was cool. But this time I'm having to like try not to look like a really stupid fucking redneck dickhead. And the first goddamn question out of that motherfucker's mouth was the Dixie Chicks, and I'm like, you motherfucker. I was baited, and I let my guard down, and for a split second I didn't think fast enough, and I didn't say what I really should have said, because he said, what about the Dixie Chicks? The first question, nothing else about it. What about the Dixie Chicks? Aren't you afraid that this is going to cause some kind of backlash? And I stammered for a split second, and then I said, well, you know, I don't really think it's the same thing. We're really not quite as mainstream as that is, which is pretty much the equivalent to letting down your fist so that he can give you that right uppercut. And he said, oh, so it's just a good gig for you. And I'm a lot of things, but I ain't a fucking opportunist, so fuck you, motherfucker. Now, if I had thought 5 seconds faster, the perfect response to that is when he said, what about the Dixie Chicks? Aren't you afraid of some kind of backlash? I would have said, bring it on. Then I would have been James Dean, and I would have been cool, and he would have been the one stammering, but I didn't think about it. But all he did was confirm every goddamn thing I thought when I wrote this song 2 weeks earlier. So here we go. It's called Big Tits and Bush. Ain't no way the New York Times ever could compete with the kind of news we seem to fit in the cleavage of our TVs. Ain't no way the Washington Post can live up to our boast as we blast them out from coast to coast. We'll kick your ass, you ain't no match for our Big Tits and Bush. So right after I wrote this song, I was playing in Seattle at a radio station, and I was just starting to do this song, but they wouldn't let me, of course. And they told me the reason they couldn't let me is because you're not allowed to say tits or bush on the radio. And I said, I understand the part about tits, you know, if it's got to be censored, you know, whatever. But I thought that other word was like our president's name or something. Anyway. We're a superhero. You're a big fat zero. It's my way or the highway. Don't care what the pundits say. Just love the way them boobies sway. Said the VCR just can't miss. big tits ambush. They're burying the head of state 24/7 for 12 days straight. And all the right wingers pontificate, and it's to seal the facts in skillful ways. 21st century Foxy Mama. Hypnotize, anesthetize, turn our minds to mush, big tits ambush. Thank